I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling to talk quite well today. What's up, everybody? My name is Sen. Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about fighting games today. I haven't done that in a while. I've just been playing fighting games and playing other games. But SageM made a video recently, all of a couple of days ago as far as I'm recording this. The title being, the game you should play to get into a new fighting game or prepare for a new fighting game. The air and aura around this is Project L. Project L is going to save the FGC. It's going to be one of the most populated games, going to be the biggest prize pools. The netcode's going to be amazing. The characters are going to be amazing. All this, that, and the third. You guys get it. As far as the question itself, I get it. I've asked a similar question, the same question. I've thought the same question. And there was kind of that feel for me personally about something like Guilty Gear Strive. When Guilty Gear Strive was on the horizon, it's like, fuck, dude, what do I need to play to get into this game? The obvious answer here is just whatever the previous... If the game isn't a franchise, just whatever the previous game is, whatever the game before it is. So for like a Street Fighter 6 that's coming out, probably play Street Fighter 5. If Tekken 8, probably play Tekken 7. If Mortal Kombat 12, play 11. So on and so forth. You guys get the idea. It's a pretty simple concept to follow. There is the case where games are fairly different from one title to another. Looking at something like Street Fighter, every past version of the game is fairly radically different from one to another. So looking at something like Third Strike to 4, looking at something like 4 to 5, and now 5 to 6, all fairly different. Don't even get me started on Alpha. I think Alpha, if I remember correctly, is the most anime Street Fighter's ever been as far as a fighting game. Now something like Guilty Gear, like absolutely, the skills are totally transferable, like just core mechanics, whether that's RC or burst or how the characters behave, what their moves are, so on and so forth. You'll get the general concept, even though the game feels differently. I feel like Guilty Gear Strive was one of the games where it's like, oh yeah, like playing Exert is great, but you'll probably be okay as a Street Fighter player. I feel, and don't quote me on this because I'm not a Guilty Gear vet, but the previous installments of Guilty Gear, so Exert and backwards, were more transferable between one to another. I don't know if that's true. I don't have anything to back that up by saying that. It's just a feel, and out of what I've heard and seen of the games, I felt like that's the case. Guilty Gear Strive is the game that is the most different from its predecessors. The thing that so let's actually talk about Project L. Project L is a tag fighter, and the thing that people respond most with when it's like, oh hey, what should I play to get ready for Project L? The most accepted answer is anything, and that's kind of the theme of the video, is just if you're looking to play something to get ready for this other game, anything is fine. There's going to be skills that are more transferable from one game to another, but playing something will give you something to transfer over. It'll give you some concepts or ideas to use. The best thing you could do for Project L, and everyone agrees with this, is just play probably any tag fighter. So playing Skullgirls, or Dragon Ball Fighters, or Marvel vs. Capcom, BlazBlue Cross Tag, was another one. Oh, King of Fighters. But playing a tag fighter, you'll know more what to look for assists, how to watch out for assists, how to use your assists. Like, there's a lot of people I play with at a beginner level that are just not comfortable using assists, and it shows. I have to remind them constantly, it's like, oh, hey, use your assist. This is a tag fighter. Use it, abuse it. If you have a weakness, use your assist to cover it up, so on and so forth. Having that skill set, being already exposed to that skill set, is only going to help you. The reason I even wanted to make this video in the first place is in part because of a friend of mine, Brandon. There's an air about Project L that a lot of people's like, man, I swear to God, when Project L comes out, I'm going to be on that shit hard. Brandon has played fighting games before. He never really got into a fighting game, not heavily invested himself into a fighting game. I think he played Guilty Gear Strive for like 26 hours, which isn't, you know, as far as a fighting game is concerned, it's not a lot. But it's not bad. Like 26 hours is still a fair bit of time to play a game in general. The people that I'm worried for are the people that have never played or touched a fighting game, that are just patiently waiting on Project L. It's like, oh man, I swear to God, when I get my hands on this game, this, that, and the other. And when it happens, they're not going to know what hits them. They're going to get hit by some bullshit. They're going to get hit by some crazy shit. They're going to be like, I'm never going to play this game again. There's going to be that wave of people. There's also going to be the wave of people that's like, oh my God, this is sick. This is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to stick with this game. Some game has to be your first fighting game, and if Project L is the case, then yeah, absolutely, that's totally fine. That's gonna be like, people are gonna come out of the woodwork like, oh yeah, I've never heard of this player before, they're an amazing Project L player, and they're just gonna come out of nowhere. They're gonna be very dominant at Evo, the way that the netcode is for a lot of games. Like, online play is very viable to becoming a very solid player, which is great. That's awesome. But the reason I bring up the people that haven't played anything is because if you play something before, if you get hit by some crazy shit, it's just gonna help you develop that thick skin that you need to play fighting games, that you need to continue, because there are gonna be days in a fighting game where you just get absolutely murked, absolutely beat up on, just non-stop, relentlessly. It might be your first day, it might be your first couple days, it might be your first week, it might be your first month. But already being ready for that, already being mentally prepared for that, is going to help you with your long-term investment of the game. Playing something is better than playing nothing. Once again, doubling back to Brandon. Brandon has played other fighting games before. I've forced that man. It's like, you're going to play Dragon Ball FighterZ, you're going to play Guilty Gear. And sometimes he's fairly hyped for something like Guilty Gear. It's like, oh man, this looks really cool. Or with like Dragon Ball, like he'll watch a tournament, it's like, wow, that was awesome, like I really want to get into the game. But it's a very fleeting, it doesn't stick around a lot. For me personally, I want him to love Project L. I want everyone to love fighting games. I want him to really get into the game. I want him to like find that spark, because when you find that spark for a fighting game, like, it, to me personally, it feels like no other game. Like, I've never felt so in love with the game. Like, it really is like your heart feels on fire for this game. Like, you just want to grind it, you are hungry to play, like it's all you can think about when you want to get home. You're thinking all day about how to get better, thinking about matchups and whatnot, what you could do to improve, some nasty tech that you could develop, so on and so forth. Like, once you are enamored with the fighting game, it is consuming in the best way possible. And I want Brandon and all my friends to like have that feeling. If they haven't felt it already for a fighting game, like I said, to me it feels like no other game. Like, I've never felt this way for any other game, and maybe it's just because like I'm just someone that only likes fighting games that much. But once you know that feeling, you want other people to experience it, and having more people playing fighting games is fucking great. So yeah, the thing that I don't want, and the reason why I'm like kind of pushy on Brandon, is like, oh hey, like maybe play some Dragon Ball, hey maybe play some Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, whatever, is because I want him to stick around. I want him to like find that he really loves Project L. The thing that I don't want to happen for Brandon, as well as any other like new players, is for them to get hit by some bullshit, not understand what's going on, continue to get beat up, get frustrated, and just put down the game and just turn away from fighting games. So speaking on something like Guilty Gear really quickly, and this happens to other people as well that I've noticed, I asked him, is like, oh hey man, like you spent 26 hours in this game. Like, it's not like you spend like a crazy amount, it's not like you spend thousands of hours, but that's still a decent chunk to dedicate to a competitive game just to put it down. Like, what happened? And he told me, is like, oh, you know, I just didn't feel myself getting better, I didn't know how to get better, I was just getting beat up on, and yeah, I just ultimately decided to put down the game. And I told him, is like, you could have asked me like any question. Like, I'm not the most knowledgeable fighting game player, but like, you know, there's things that I know, I could definitely help you and help you improve. And yeah, like, there's gonna be that wave of players that don't know what they're doing in a fighting game. They don't know where to go to improve or how to improve, or like they just feel like they're plateauing, they're not going anywhere, and it's going to ruin their resolve. It's going to kind of snuff out that fire very quickly, and they're just going to ultimately end up putting down the game and going back to whatever they played before, whether that's League or Valorant, Overwatch, so on and so forth. And I don't want that to happen. I also asked Brandon, like, following that up, he told me he never really played online. I'm like, that's crazy, because he just played against myself and Vince, and we're like decently experienced players. We're not great or anything, but we're like floor 9, floor 10 pretty consistently. Sometimes I'll dip into floor 8, but I'll climb right back. And fighting us as a beginner and just fighting us is like, oh yeah, that is a good way. Like, you should play people at your level. Absolutely. Find a training partner or something, play online, grind ranked, whatever. Only playing against players that are like way better than you. It's gonna be a little rough. There's definitely, you need to balance that out. Speaking of, link in the description to my Discord where we play any and all things fighting games out there. I just got beat up in MK11 last night. It was tight. This video kind of turned less into what you should play to get ready for X game or Y game or whatever, and more of like, oh, hey, I really just don't want people to get discouraged. Like, be ready, because there is going to be a rude awakening for a lot of players. It's gonna help because hopefully the game is very, very populated like we all suspect it's going to be, which means there's going to be more newer players, which is going to be great. You are going to be able to find players at your level as a beginner. There's going to be the wave of really crazy players, but that's because everyone starts really low. But after and over time, those will filter out. You will continuously fight players at your level. But yes, be ready initially to get fucked up pretty hardcore. That's all I'm saying. If you can develop that skin, you'll last, you'll make it. Playing something to prepare yourself is absolutely going to help. I would recommend it, whether you're Brennan or a random or Rob or someone I know at work, someone I don't know at work, whatever. I hope you guys have found this video somewhat valuable at least and have enjoyed me rambling. If you guys want to hear me ramble more, you can check out the rest of the channel. There's all kinds of content, whether that's fighting games, Yu-Gi-Oh, single player content, and as well in the description there's a link to the Discord, which I mentioned. I will absolutely play any fighting game with you, and there will be other people that are willing. There are other beginners. We have a fair bit of Dragon Ball Fighter players. I have a link to my second channel. My second channel's name is Crouch Block, where you guys can find all my analysis content. I'm going to post something on there very soon. It's going to be the before the Joker video, because the Joker video has been very time consuming and energy draining. But yeah, look forward to all kinds of new good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.